Is there anybody out there who feels the way that we do? Yeah. And it turns out there are a lot
expressed to us how much the show means to you, which I'm incredibly grateful for, but in honesty, and I don't say this, lightly, it means so much to us. I mean, we really genuinely feel like we all do this show together, and I felt the way, and Saagar felt the way that probably many of you felt like. We felt like we were crazy, like we were the only ones who thought this way, or talked this way. And then when we started posting it on YouTube, and this was just, back in June, this is incredibly recently. And the way that all of you responded was like, oh my God, we found our people. I mean, look, I know that Bernie and all the candidates want to move forward, they want to focus on New Hampshire, I get it, I do too. But also, I do think it's important that we learn the lessons of whatever the hell just happened in this insane week. And look at that with clarity so that we learn what we need to know to be able to move forward here. I mean, listen, on the day of the Iowa caucuses, I don't know how many of you watched the radar that I did that day, but I said, look, even if Bernie wins, there's no way the media is going to let him have a victory, right? Yeah.
Here's the thing. You cannot come away from that debate last night and not realize that this guy is like an animatronic robot who has been assembled by Aaron Sorkin and the West Wing writing staff in order to regurgitate focus group talking points. He's like one of those string bells that you pull it back and he comes out whatever the neoliberal establishment wants him to push out there. He can always count on Pete to give us these talking points, right? And that's the worst part about all of this, is that he's completely full of shit. Did you guys see that tweet that his campaign thought was so profound that they decided to put it out there? They said, the shape of our democracy shapes who we are. What the fuck does that mean? It's literally a meaningless statement, and it's supposedly profound. This guy is Obama 1.5 because he's not good enough to be Obama 2.0. Obama 0.75. But let's actually dive into this, right?
You guys sound really, really pissed off about the media. What's your fucking problem? The people at MSNBC are doing their good. They're doing their best. You don't think Putin's gonna turn off the fucking heat in the winter in Minnesota? Well, why don't you wake up, young lady?
Those Facebook ads, man, that was everything last election. They shared those Buff Bernie memes.
I want to do something. I gotta tell you, and I know a lot of people don't know this about me, but I got sick a couple years ago and I went bankrupt, right? Because I'm American. And so I voted for Bernie Sanders, right, because he said he was going to give us health care like the rest of the world where you don't go bankrupt. And turns out that's not why I voted for him. It turns out I voted for him because I was manipulated by Russia. I'm very susceptible to memes. I saw Bernie arm wrestling Jesus and I was like, they got me! And I feel sorry for Hillary Clinton, because I can relate. I ran for student body president when I was in high school, and I lost. And I immediately blamed another country. I was like, fucking Paraguay! And all I wanted was healthcare. And now you got billionaires getting into the race just so they can make sure we don't get healthcare, right? Like Howard Schultz from the Starbucks, right? Yeah. He's getting it, and he's like, we can't afford Medicare for all, but we can't afford an $8 fucking coffee. Hey Howard, why is it the rest of the Western world has figured this shit out decades ago, and they also make better fucking coffee? What is it about countries that give their people health care, they don't have to add pumpkin spice to their fucking coffee? I last year. I had a coffee. I was like, oh my God, what is not in here? No tears of the uninsured. It's gotten so bad. All I'm saying is that there's a silver lining of Donald Trump, right? The silver lining is every time he does something shitty, you find out Barack Obama did that same fucking thing. It's like, hey, Trump is banning Muslims at the airport. You know why they're at the airport? Because Barack Obama just bombed them for 8 fucking years straight. What does Barack Obama have to do? Bomb Muslims at an airport for you guys to get pissed off? Then you find out, right? You find out that I should shut up. Let's just right? It's like, oh, you're poor. Oh, you're not. You pretend you are. You fuck. You can buy your fucking shirt. Anyway, I like Michael. Don't get me wrong. He's a great guy. Anyway, he likes to do McCarthy swears on MSNBC, which is how he keeps his accent. But the point is, people are hating Donald Trump so much now, and that's the thing. It's like he is, and Andrew Yang was right. He said that he is a symptom, right, of a bigger problem. He gave it to Pete Buttigieg, and he is correct. People, that is correct. I don't know about you, but yeah, corruption started in January 2017, or is that how we got people so desperate to vote for a fucking danger hole because the system has left them down for 40 goddamn years? That's what's going on. People are so desperate that they're willing to vote for assholes. I was watching The View the other day because I'm home. Nancy Pelosi was out there and she goes, oh, you know, I just hate Donald Trump so much, I wish we had George Bush back. No, you don't. No, you don't. George Bush was such a shitty president, the next guy we elected was a black guy with a Muslim name. That's how it was. And Barack Obama, by the way, they hated him so much they gave him a peace prize on his first meeting. Remember that? First day, they're like, here's your peace prize. And Barack's like, I didn't do anything yet. Shut up. Just fucking shut up and take it. So he takes the peace prize and he immediately ramps up the war in Afghanistan, starts bombing Libya, puts a hit on Osama bin Laden, drops 26,000 bombs in Syria, and that's the thing about those peace prizes. Nobody ever tries to win a second one. What kind of a guy has a peace prize and a kill list? That's fucking amazing.
Role play here so that I could get reaccustomed to the mainstream approach and way of doing things. Are you down for helping me with that?
I am down for helping with that. Yes, I am.
Thank you.
So I will play the role of a neoliberal fuckstick.
So let's start with a special report from MSNBC News. This is the 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at MSNBC News. Here joining me now with their thoughts on the 2016 Democratic primary, Krystal Ball. She's former DNC spokesperson, Hillary 2016 alumnus, minority shareholder in shadow. The other guest who's joining us is Jimmy Dore. He's a former George W. Bush staffer. He personally hung up the Mission Accomplished banner on He's never Trump Republican, but he has a lot of thoughts on the 2020 presidential primary. For that reason, we should listen to him. Krystal, the first question goes to you. When should Bernie Sanders drop out of this race?
Yesterday, obviously, he's plummeted into first place in the polls. If he doesn't drop out, he should at least endorse Elizabeth Warren and make her president and then drop out. That's what I think he's going to do. I mean, what can you say about this guy? He's anti-woman and he just makes my skin crawl. Not that I know anything about politics, but I mean, if I did know something about politics, I would say that, yeah, I think he's anti-woman based on nothing, and it makes me feel sad.
Right. Jimmy, can you just opine on how unpatriotic it is that Bernie Sanders does not want to invade Venezuela?
I mean, you do understand how much of our oil is underneath their ground.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean, Venezuela has twice as much of our oil under their land as Saudi Arabia has. Don't you think it's time to bring their people democracy?
Now, Krystal, what is it about that Amy Klobuchar after last night's debate? I am really feeling her. I mean, I'm really having a hard breakout, an absolute breakout performance. I expect her to surge in the polls tomorrow. I mean, the way that she handled that Pistol Pete Buttigieg, it was really a shocking performance. A new arrival on her stage.
She's got that Midwestern charisma. Exactly why the New York Times gave her a half endorsement. And after the debate, I literally say the same thing, which is that Amy Klobuchar was amazing. And one day, these dumb voters will wake up and realize she is the rightful queen of the Democratic Party. Yes! So electable. That's really the thing that gets me about her, is her sheer electability.
And Jimmy, missing from the stage, of course, was Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. The Congresswoman has yet to deny being the Russian asset. Can you speculate about whether she is?
Well, if I could just backtrack to the Amy Klobuchar, because I'm with Bill Maher. I'm over 50, so I take a lot of Viagra. So I'm taking a hard look at Amy Klobuchar. And I don't remember what your question is, but
Why hasn't Tulsi Gabbard denied being the Russian asset?
but speaking of Joe Biden, you know, for a guy who's as handsy as Joe Biden is, it's amazing how out of touch he can be. Am I right? Now back to your question. Tulsi Gabbard.
Why isn't Tulsi denied being the
Yes,
Russian
she
asset?
keeps coming on to me, and I keep telling her I'm fucking married. Is that your question?
I think the Kremlin must have paid her to do that. That's the only rationalization.
She must be a honeypot.
You know what? I thought when I heard about her volunteering to go into the military as a medic, and then I heard about her volunteering to re-up and keep going back and doing the service, and then meeting with our enemies to try to find peace, I was like, there's something fucking wrong with her. She's a vegan anti-war bitch. That is not right. That's not right. Have you seen her working out? She's cheating. She's eating sushi or something. There's nobody can jump up like that on fucking tomatoes and lettuce.
Krystal,
That's actually true.
Krystal, I want to get you in on this. One thing that we these solutions, but I understand where and what they're philosophically based and who they're actually trying to help. I'm not here to tell you all, why are you all trying to turn America into Venezuela? I know. Most of you just want healthcare. Most of you just don't want rising costs of life. I'm totally with that. Where I differ is on some of the solutions, particularly on immigration. I know that you guys all love to troll me in the comments and that issue in particular. I believe in tight labor markets. I'm sorry. I believe in supply and demand. I think that is one of the biggest probable areas of difference between Krystal and I. And then I think the second one is on drugs.
Can I stop you on the first one?
Go for it.
So what do you think about a solidarity among workers worldwide instead of having these bullshit trade agreements that make workers pit against each other?
I just think that ultimately, as a nation, we cannot work all the time for the interests of everybody. We can do our best, but we always have to keep the citizens of our nation at the top of our priorities on trade agreements, on immigration policy, and on here's the other thing, on criminal justice reform. I mean, listen, I started out the show. I actually don't believe that people should be criminalized for using marijuana. I think it is insane. I do think that racism pervades the criminal justice system, but I believe in the criminal justice system. And I think that's the difference. So what it means is, I think they
get it wrong most of the time?
I think, no, they absolutely have gotten it wrong on marijuana, but I think some people who, if you push heroin, I think that's something you should go to jail for. And now, I'm also
what if you push alcohol?
Right.
I think alcohol is bad. I'm actually on the record
Alcohol
saying
actually kills more
I think
people.
absolutely alcohol.
So should you go to jail for alcohol?
Terrible drug. Listen, it wasn't part of Western culture, civilization for the last 5,000 years, and we were starting out from scratch, I'd be like, no, we shouldn't be drinking it.
But let's say,
But we are.
So, but you can't push for that? I mean, that's a
Well, you can't.
around.
It already happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we're already in a situation where that got banned. Look, we live in a democracy. We get to vote on these things. And sure, let's put it all up for a vote. So drug policy, immigration, but and even on trade. What it really comes down to, again, though, is we agree the working class of this country has been screwed. And now, I get tarred as a racist or Trump supporter who falls in line 100%. Anybody of you who watches the show knows that I call out Donald Trump for selling out to corporate interests all the time. For betraying in many cases, he's done some okay things, but for betraying the interests and betraying the people who put him in the White House. And I call him out on the show and urge a turn because I see what Washington does to people when they come. And this is something that I have talked about with Bernie Sanders that I actually think is important for all of you to know. Which is that the way that Washington, the White House, gets staffed, there's like 1,000, 10,000 jobs, right? So people go out and they have resumes and people have pre-packaged things, and a lot of people who don't even agree with your movement are gonna start saying, oh, I always like a guy, just so they can get into the White House. You need to understand that there are a lot of snakes sitting in DC who are ready to pay homage to your movement and will screw you from the inside all the way up to the top.
Here, here. That's great. That is exactly right. That's the message I think. I mean, you guys do such a great job. I still can't believe that you say the shit you say. Because you're not, I don't know if you know, but you're not actually a conservative.
My question is, do you think the mainstream media journalists know they're full of shit when reporting the mainstream narrative? Or do they actually believe what they are reporting?
This is for Jimmy and for me.
Oh, let's all answer.
Okay,
Jimmy, go first.
Go ahead.
Oh, I think that they all tell themselves lies so they can sleep at night. Like Chris Hayes, right? So Chris Hayes, who I used to like a lot and look for, he used to be a union reporter, right? So now the lie that Chris Hayes tells himself and $30,000 a day gives you the ability to tell yourself this lie is that if I wasn't here, there'd be someone else here anyway, and they wouldn't be fighting as hard as I am to tell some truths. And that's the lie. So when he gets to tell the truth about Gaza for 3 minutes in a fucking entire year, he says, look, I'm doing that. And I say, look, you're only allowed to talk about that for 3 minutes. Why don't you go do a podcast and find a real audience? Instead of being handed a bullshit audience like this. But he won't do it because he's been captured by $30,000 a day. And like every other human being, Chris Hayes is corrupted. 100% Chris Hayes is corrupted. He's a motherfucker. He won't tell you that they're fucking lying to you about Libya. He won't tell you they're lying to you about Syria. He won't tell you they're lying to you about Venezuela, which is why Chris Hayes is a motherfucker. And he talks about fucking lies. And he won't tell you that they're lying about fucking Russiagate. And he won't tell you that it's a one-party system and Nancy Pelosi is just as corrupt, is a war criminal, and is a fucking regular criminal, and that's why she got $100 million while she was in government. They don't tell you that because they're paid not to fucking tell you that. Why are they impeached Donald Trump and not George Bush? Because Nancy Pelosi was informed in 2002 that the Bush administration was carrying out war crimes, torture. She was told that. And you know why she didn't investigate George Bush and hold an impeachment hearing? Because she would have been outed as complicit in war crimes. They're all fucking criminals, and that's why I say fuck that, and this impeachment trial is a distraction from the Democratic Party. Sell out the corporate America. Because of the corruption inside the Democratic fucking party. We don't have a functioning banking system because Barack Obama's entire cabinet came from an email from Citigroup. We don't have a fucking functioning healthcare system because Barack Obama is complicit with the health insurance of Big Pharma. That's why we're in the position we are. Barack Obama opened the Arctic to drilling whenever the fuck Shell asked. We have fracking pipes underneath this country because he repealed the regulations that stopped that shit. We are here because of the failure of the Democratic fucking party, not because of Donald Trump.
I think that some of the time, and they're bullshit, but there's such a powerful incentive to not see that you're full of shit. And when you surround yourself with people who all think the same way, who are all the same class, right, who all have the same mindset, who don't know any of the people in this room, don't know any of the people that supported Donald Trump, don't know any of the people that support Bernie Sanders, don't know any of the people that support Andrew Yang, have no actual connection left to the working class. They're able to convince themselves that they really are telling the truth, right? That they really are fighting the good fight because it profits them to delude themselves in that way. And look, we're all human beings. We're all subject to pressure and incentive and all that stuff. So when you're inside of those organizations, you know what you should do to further your career, right? You know what kind of commentary will be accepted, elevated, and what will be frowned upon, and where, you know, they may not tell you can't say it, but you may not get that promotion or that next booking if you do. Everybody knows those things, right? They know how much their access depends on not pushing hard. There was interesting with Elizabeth Warren. Let's think about this. So the whole report that in a private conversation, Bernie Sanders said a woman can't be president, which is utter and complete bullshit. So who wrote that report? It was a woman named MJ Lee, who we had covered on the show previously because she did a sit-down with Elizabeth Warren and her husband that was so ridiculously fluffy. Like, not one single hard question. The hardest question was to Warren's husband, are you ready for her to run against Donald Trump? That was the hardest question the entire interview, okay? So she gives this fluffy interview, right? And because she does that, she's able to maintain access so that when the Warren team wants to drop this bomb on Bernie Sanders, she's the one that they give it to, and that elevates her status. And that's the way that this works. They care more about access than they care about holding power to account. You see it with Harvey Weinstein. This is why these people get away with literal murder, sex trafficking, etc. for so long, because the cost of losing their access, losing their privileges to elite circles are too great to actually hold these people to account.
Yeah, that's